Hey, it's Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just wanted to let people know we had our best week, or third best week of the year last week after revamping my website. Lots more engagement. Yay. Thank you very much for the support. A lot more members as well. Just so people know, over the next probably 4 to 6 weeks, you haven't formalized the itinerary, but I've been promising this for the last couple of months regarding a workshop regarding the platform that I'm going with that has been pretty well developed and pieced together. What I'm going to do is do weekly webinars for, I don't know, an hour, a couple hours to handle Q&A, do some live demos for people. And it's going to cover everything regarding the system that I'm going to be going with. That's going to include real-time analytics, going to include data acquisition, how to generate comma-separated value files for backtesting and generating really fast using some third-party tools that I use. Being able to handle queuing, instant queuing, actually real-time queuing between a feed coming in from IQ feed and then being able to process it against the model. I'm also going to be covering in another episode something like, I've done it a few times, but this is going to be the last time. Being able to generate models from within MATLAB and Simulink, demoing how to co-generate them into C or C++, how to turn those into DLLs and then implement them into the live trading model. Doesn't stop there. Plus I'm going to be doing some other webinar events on how to execute your trades. Now executing your trades is not an easy thing, and obviously I'm using Interactive Brokers for that. So all in this live trading model, you have to figure out how to execute your trades, and it can virtually trade anything you want, any type of trade. And I'm going to show you the tool, the library I use to generate the sequence of lines that need to be generated to be implemented in your code so that you can then execute and submit your orders to Interactive Brokers through the Trader Workstation desktop tool. And on top of that, I'm going to be having another event on how to archive data, especially tick data, equivalent of something like a KDB, which is very, very expensive. But for me, I like SQL Server from Microsoft. Going to show you how I'm going to do that. I also got a schema that I'll be highlighting, and on top of that, also just so much. The complex events processing for your data, and then you can use that for live streaming into another application like MATLAB, and then be able to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Does it stop there? No, it doesn't. Okay, and then we got Excel as a front end that we can use for charting. Again, we can also use MATLAB if we want. Yet to be determined, but there's a lot of flexibility with this, and I'll be doing a lot of webinars on all these topics, a lot. And then, as I mentioned, with the Excel as a front end, you can also develop components for screeners for your assets that you want to watch, to set up triggers or alerts, or portfolio management. There's some libraries that I've got for that. Again, some of these are you have to pay for, but they're very affordable, and they do a lot for what you get. I'm sure I forgot something in there. Oh, how could I forget? Last Friday, I demoed the new version of MATLAB 2012B, and then that now enables you to directly integrate into Interactive Brokers with a TWS, Trader Workstation. And unbelievable stuff that I demoed, showing you how to stream the data into MATLAB and have a little utility that will show what you're watching. You can have another utility to show what's happening to your positions and your trades. You could also have another demo I've got, which kind of doesn't work, but it works. It connects into the TWS. How to do submitting of orders. Now, I wouldn't recommend that. That's what my actual platform's for. But the powerful thing with the MATLAB and this IB now is that you can now develop some very, very cool applications. And I'm talking about self-containing applications, like your exe files on a Windows environment, And you can also connect those and develop third-party extensions, I guess call them, into Java, .NET assemblies, and even an Excel add-in, all from the world of MATLAB. That's the beautiful thing about it. And we haven't even talked about Simulink as well. And Simulink is another world to conquer as well. So there's a lot of very cool stuff. Now, as you can tell, this is a pretty intensive workshop because it's now taking me 5 minutes just to explain some of the steps. So what's happening is that it's 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to be weekly. I'm recording them, but they're only, again, for my members. I mean, that's how it's got to work, right? That's how we keep the lights on up there. Yeah, up there. That's how we do it. And thanks to them for joining. I mean, without them, I wouldn't be here. But I'm now going to feed back a lot of stuff to these guys and gals in the membership, give them the private webinar. It will be recorded for downloadable purposes, as well as this will evolve as part of many other things into a private, or not a course, but into a course I'll be putting up onto my academy. And now that will not be a cheap process. So here's the thing. If you want to take advantage of all the live webinars I'll be having in all these workshops to ask you Q&A, now's the time. Why I'm only going to be doing this once. I don't want to spend my time going through this over and over again. That's just not my primary business. My primary business is to set up a trading shop, but it took me 3 years to get where I'm at now, but I'm pretty confident with where I'm at on the technology front. So that's where things are, but you can see the tools and a lot of the excitement I'm building with these tools. On top of, I'm also still experimenting with Python, and somewhere down the line I may integrate some of the Python scripts that I've seen on top of that. And if I really want to go hog wild, I can still implement R scripts that I've seen, and I haven't even looked at R in the last year, so there might be some juicy stuff that I don't even know about in the last year. But it can all be integrated into the same platform. And yes, pieces of it can be deployed onto Linux or Unix or whatever I want. And as I said, with the MATLAB stuff, I can easily deploy that into Java. Again, that can be supported by Linux. So that's where we're at. And to be honest, now's the time to get in. Whatever it costs, $109. You get all that. Now, I haven't even said the best part yet. All this stuff includes source code. All this stuff gives you access for free, all the video code walkthroughs of the source code for $100. Jeez, man, that's really cheap. So you're going to get all that stuff for that cheap. And that will happen over the next month or two. Like I said, 4 to 6 weeks, maybe to 8 weeks. I don't know. It just depends on how much. And on top of that, I'll be also adding new stuff as I go, other new developments, other new tools, other new software. So the thing is, even if you cannot afford MATLAB, a lot of people can't, you can still run and execute all these independent, self-contained executables or programs that I'll be providing as part of the membership, which means you can run MATLAB royalty-free, meaning you don't have to pay nothing for to run these components for free, and they'll be all part of my membership. So you can imagine some of the powerful things that are going to come out of this. And I'm really, really excited. And I haven't even mentioned any of the strategies that we're working on. We've got dozens and dozens, and we're going to be evaluating that. So that's going to be another component of all this spiel. And I'm just putting this whole video together just to let you know what's happening. And that's going to start happening as of probably next week sometime. And I'll be posting an entire itinerary of what's going to be included. Now, of course, there's going to be reading material that is highly suggested you read. There's going to be some video walkthroughs that you would probably be to your advantage. The whole idea of this is to sort of give you the equivalent of homework to get you started, and at the same time be able to ask the Q&A like the so-called professor, me, and who knows, maybe the Leonard Quant may be part of this. I don't know. It's up to him. But for me, I'm pretty well committed. And I've already posted one webinar we did last week, and I want to see people succeed. And most of all, I don't want to see people getting ripped off by all these other, I don't call them jack-offs, and companies that are just ripping people off left and right in this line of work. So, there you go. That's what's happening. Now you know. Oh, and I better mention one thing. All this stuff, we're closing it off to the public forever and ever. Amen. I yet have to decide on that date. But as I said, I'm keeping this very limited to the number of people. We already got about 150 people in the membership, and we're keeping it locked down to those amount of people. And this new entire system, this new course, is not going to be cheap. It's going to be a few $1,000s, and the reason is because it's going to be targeted towards ultra high net worth individuals and their internal teams that they're building, on top of all the enterprise level type of trading shops that are out there. So that's who this system is being targeted for, and this is also being targeted for those that can afford it, because obviously the tools that are part of this, the MATLAB and the SQL Server, are not cheap tools. But you can still get around on the open source stuff with the Python and the R. But if you're watching my webinar tonight, you'll see the reasons why I use things like SQL Server and MATLAB. But you can still get around the other way as well. So that's what's happening. You decide. But decide well, my friends. Have a good day.